If you are accustomed to the regular USEF dressage tests, the young horse test will seem strange to you. There is a prescribed pattern which must be ridden, but unlike the normal test, the horse is not scored block by block. The purpose of these tests is to winnow out the special athletic horses that can be fast-tracked towards the international levels. As such, uphill balance and movement are highly prized, while minor misbehaviors are overlooked. Consequently, just because you have a 4-year-old horse doesn't mean he should be doing the 4-year-old test. It is approximately the degree of difficulty of a first-level test 1. There are perfectly nice horses who will satisfy these requirements eventually, but it is unfair to ask many of them to do it at such a young age. However, horses whose breeding and conformation predispose them towards success can do this work much earlier and more ably. It is for these horses that these tests are designed. A pair of judges preside. They sit together and discuss the scores they wish to give for each gait, submissiveness, and the overall impression. In addition to the written test result, they are obligated to make an oral critique while the rider is still in the arena, both for his or her benefit and for the spectators. So let's watch this 4-year-old gelding presented by Gail Redinger from Sandpoint, Idaho. So here we go with the actual test. It's fairly straight, obedient entrance. More or less perfunctory halt, not square behind, not really sustained, but harmless. A little bit deviating the haunches on the turn. But looking at the gait itself, it's a reasonably energetic ground covering kind of trot. We're looking at the 10-meter half circles and back to the track. There he gets behind the leg and loses the rhythm momentarily, and you can figure that would hurt you a lot more in the score if this were a regular test, and it's simply noted in this test, which is looking for larger elements. So the trot is decent. It's certainly 7-ish. It could be more active behind. It could have more power and thrust. It could have more lift and cadence. But it's light and obedient. The horse looks cheerful in his work. His tail swings gently. He's pleasant in the contact. Here with the lengthening, he gets a little wide behind, and he could have more shoulder freedom and again more cadence in the way he's working. Right there, I like the trot a little bit more. And so here he's working his way onto a 3-loop serpentine width of the arena. Again, carrying himself nicely. Showing an easy change of the bend, keeping the rhythm. Fairly light in the bridle. Not quite clear transition, but now it's a pretty fancy walk. And you can watch his back swing and watch his huge overstep and watch him reach towards the ground. And if he really reached the way I've seen him reach other times, I could almost think a 10. The judges were at a 9 for his walk anyway. The medium walk on the other short diagonal, he's still moving nicely through from behind, and his back undulates. He's a little unsteady in the bridle here. A prompt and active move off, and the canter departed A is slightly hollow. Not the biggest deal in the world again for this. Now you might note that the camera is a little bit tipped. It's sort of tipped downhill, and even so, the canter is very uphill looking. I would call this a fairly effortless, ground-covering, balanced canter with a lot of good quality to it. There are horses that are in training for several years and still have trouble acquiring this sort of canter. Very fluid. Little off balance in the transition. Playing here, maybe reacting to a little much spur. And if you did that in a regular test, you'd probably end up with a 5. Here, again, we're looking at the balance, the quality of movement, the overall impression of how the horse goes. Here on the 15-meter circle, still moving quite nicely. The pair of judges conferring as they end up giving their scores later on. This transition downward, smoother than the last one. Another lengthening. And we could call this conservative. He could have more overtrack. He could have more shoulder freedom. He could be more up in the withers and covering more ground. Pleasant trot here, still looking for more engagement, and he certainly seeks the bit. He could be better connected to it, but showing the right inclinations. And then as he turns for home here to finish, we see perhaps the best trot he's made so far. So now the overall scores that are given for this ride. For the trot, a 7.8. Clear rhythm, nice elasticity, some forging and needing to find more balance. 9, as we said, for the walk. The canter, clear rhythm, shows lift and expression and could still be more balanced, and he gets a solid 8. For submissiveness, willing attitude, nicely connected and forward, tries to work but still struggling with the hindquarters and balance. For that he gets 7.9. And overall, nice type, elegant, light, willing, attentive, shows good basics, an 8.5, which is quite a nice score there. Overall, 82.4 from the judges. I hope this helps you understand the 4-year-old test. This is Bill Woods. Thanks for watching.